Welcome everyone to the IP Fabric demo overview. First, let's do a little level setting of the solution. So IP Fabric is an appliance that you deploy on your network, which maps and models your entire multi-vendor end-to-end network, cloud, and security environments. Now, some people refer to this as maybe a digital twin of your network. We collect information on state, policies, configuration, interdependencies, among other things, giving your whole team, regardless of skill set or function, a full picture view of what you have, and we do it without charging you for extra seat licenses. As we build out this data model, we apply advanced analytics to this data set to tell you what should be going on and present those back to the user or to the system so that everyone can see current and potential issues. Your operations teams can come in and view the dashboard of the latest snapshot and compare that to a previous snapshot in the morning while they're drinking their coffee. Then taking that a step further, you'll have these time-based snapshots of your entire network so you can do deep root cause analysis of what's happened in the past, but also prepare and design for the future. Now, everything in IP Fabric's UI is also in the API, and this helps our users expose the appropriate capabilities to the appropriate teams. Does the governance team need a report? Well, they can push a button and get it on demand. Does the apps team need to understand dependencies to migrate apps to the cloud and meet their deadlines? They can use a self-service portal. Does the security team need to know if anything's bypassing required firewalls? Well, the chatbot can easily let them know. So IP Fabric empowers other teams to self-serve while freeing the network operations teams from answering unnecessary tickets. And then we can plug IP Fabric into all of these other systems that you're already using, your ITAMs, CMDBs, monitoring tools, automation tools, ensuring that you're using the tools that you already have in your technologies stack to their full potential. Now, most of these systems depend on having a clean house, right? Accurate data to avoid the familiar garbage in, garbage out problem. This is why we're also perfect for building your network AI models, for example. We also work at both ends of your automation loops in that we provide the information which needs to be remediated or needs to be changed, and then we'll check and make sure that everything is in fact copacetic after the remediation. So we are also a validation tool. All of this comes together to mean better collaboration between your entire IT organization. And this is what's going to accelerate those strategic projects that you've budgeted for, or the ones which have already maybe stalled, relieving any technical debt. So with that, let's jump into the demo. So IP Fabric creates a point-in-time analysis of your entire network. So you can group devices into logical sites and see topologies, easily get device information. I like to think of it as like your Visio documentation, except that it's actually up to date and accurate. We're not just mapping your network though, we're simulating it. You can drill into different sites and get detailed visual representations of how everything is interconnected. You can filter views based on protocols or devices to focus on specific areas of interest. This isn't just about viewing, though. Our path lookup tool allows you to troubleshoot end-to-end paths. For example, I can look up the path between two devices or two different network segments and see everything the packets go through. So in this case, a firewall is blocking the traffic, right? Using IP Fabric, a very large finance customer of ours was able to reduce their MTTR from 24 hours to just 30 minutes. We have another example of a customer using this end-to-end path lookup to do segment validation. Basically, they're very concerned about ensuring that critical applications are on their level 6 security segments where other applications are on, say, a level 1 segment, and they don't want the two to be able to communicate. So they use our end-to-end lookup capability with automation to continuously and automatically validate these segments on two different levels cannot communicate. After running a path lookup, we can also simulate removing the firewall block to see if any other issues would stop the traffic. It allows network engineers to proactively resolve potential future problems before they happen. IP Fabric uses snapshots to capture a point-in-time view of your network, as we've already talked about. For example, we can use snapshots to check if issues have been fixed. In this case, there's an OSPF issue caused by an MTU mismatch. So If I go to networks and I go to intent checks and I type in MTU, kind of shorthand it, I can see what's orange and I can dive in to see this problem. And now when I go to a new snapshot, I can check and make sure that now everything is green, so everything has been fixed. So basically, I can easily locate where problems are, resolve them, take a new snapshot then to confirm that everything is working smoothly. This makes it easy to validate fixes and ensure network health. We have a customer in the energy industry who was able to take root cause investigation from an average of 2 days to just 1 hour. We also offer built-in intelligence with intent checks to ensure your network is compliant with both configuration and regulatory standards. So we create these based on things like CIS controls, the NIST framework, and other common best practices. IP Fabric actually comes with 160 built-in intent checks, as well as the ability to create your own, like this one for PCI DSS compliance. It checks if SNMP community strings have been changed, which is a common requirement for PCI. And by the way, I don't need to understand query language or coding or low code, no code to understand how to do this. It's simply just logic and thresholds. If a large bank, for example, were to fail this check, they could face penalties of $100,000 per month. If it led to a data breach, the cost could reach between 6 to 9 million in the finance industry. So our platform helps prevent these costly issues. Not to mention, it's great if you have customers which are requiring you to be compliant before they sign that next deal. Another key intent check we offer is for end of life, end of support, and end of sale. We track when devices and even parts within devices reach these life cycle stages, helping you manage your network's life cycle more efficiently. When a device or part is no longer supported, it no longer receives security patches, which only expands the attack surface. Recently, IBM reported that the average cost of a data breach was $4.88 million. With so many devices to track, especially in a multi vendor environment, it's impossible to manage lifecycle information manually. But IP Fabric makes it easy by flagging when components are reaching the end of their lifecycle using simple traffic light signals. Moving on to consumability and the ability to share appropriate information. In 7.0, we introduced the ability to create new dashboard tabs. These can be created for teams, for projects, for executive leadership, personas, and then you can create the widgets that you need and give the appropriate information to the appropriate teams. And again, this is all very simple, no need to understand coding or anything else in order to create these. Because IP Fabric isn't just for network engineers, and again, we don't charge by the seat, it also allows teams to share views with each other easily. So I can find an issue, click Share View, and send it to a colleague in security to review the problem. We also integrate with tools like ServiceNow, for example, where IP Fabric can automatically populate tickets with relevant data, saving hundreds of hours in manual work. We actually had a customer who ended up saving 28 hours a day in ticket creation time. Not to mention our integrations with automation, application, and network monitoring, and the rest of your technology stack, which all require a clean and complete data set from which to work. Now, speaking of integrations, we now have a capability called extensions, which is built into 7.0 and which we'll be continuously improving upon. Essentially, we're making it easier for teams to build things like integrations or reporting more easily. So if I click on extensions here, I can activate the extensions and then just click on the link to navigate to the UI. We've got a few samples in here, one being for capacity planning, which is in the same vein as the what if scenarios we were talking about earlier. We have a lot of customers which do quite a bit of mergers and acquisitions, M&A, for example. And this inevitably means that they need to standardize on hardware and software. However, they don't necessarily want to do a one-for-one replacement. In this case, instead of buying 100 new switches, they can buy 50, but still be ensured that they will have redundancy and resiliency built into the system. Not to mention, now your company is responsible for any data breaches which might happen in the acquired company's IT environment. So being able to map and model that entire network along with the advanced analytics and intent checks, checking for new CVE information so that everything is patched and all of that good stuff, you can be ensured that the acquired company's IT network is as mature as you need it to be. One other thing I want to show is IP Fabric is perfect for building your AI models. You may have heard Jeremy Schulman from Major League Baseball, a customer of ours, talking about how he's created his AI architecture with IP Fabric, providing inputs into the data lake. IP Fabric data is already normalized in structured data for your entire multi-vendor network, cloud, and security environment. It's perfect for building LLMs. And then using AI architectures like RAGs as guardrails. By RAG, I mean retrieval augmented generation. You can ensure that LLMs are always up to date with the correct information and you're not receiving hallucinated information. And therefore, you also have the updated information from every new IP Fabric snapshot. Now, when starting with IP Fabric, you deploy a virtual appliance and it runs an automatic discovery of your entire network security and cloud environment, much like what a network engineer would do, but faster and more comprehensively. So we use discovery seeds instead of uh, protocols like SNMP, which were never really meant to do discovery. And we only require an IP address to get started. In fact, we don't even need that, as well as some read-only credentials, but we don't require anything like agents or anything like that on your network. We get our information from things like routing tables and ARP data, neighbor relationships, and more, ensuring that nothing is missed. And not missing anything is really so important. During a recent POC with an energy provider, we actually discovered a 20% discrepancy between what their CMD reported and what IP Fabric found. Now, this sounds like a lot, but it was things like unknown devices. So, devices running in production that they didn't know about that weren't possibly getting compliance or security or automation policies assigned as they should have been. It was about devices that were no longer in production, leading to extra renewal costs. It was incorrect host names, leading to automation and compliance policies, again, not getting enforced where they're supposed to, and incorrect serial numbers and model names, leading to confusion during RMA and support processes. Would you like to see more? Check out our guided demo on the IP Fabric website, or go ahead and download the free trial and give it a try in your environment. Thanks everyone for watching.